The universe didn't end with fire or ice. It ended with a typo. Dr. Elias Verne saw it first at 317 A. The stars above the Atacama Observatory just flickered. Not like dying light, but like a corrupted video file. For a split second, constellations duplicated, misaligned, then snapped back into place. Elias blinked, checked the instruments, then checked himself. The data was impossible. But soon, the impossible became routine. Particles would vanish mid-observation. The fundamental constants of our universe started shifting in the fifth decimal place. A neutrino detector in Japan recorded an output that wasn't numbers, but a structured language. The global scientific community panicked, but quietly, behind closed doors and classified data. Governments denied everything. Then came the final, undeniable proof. A pattern was found embedded deep within the cosmic microwave background radiation. It was a pattern of compression artifacts, identical to those found in computer-generated environments. The universe wasn't infinite, it was rendered. The truth leaked out. We were living inside a simulation. The world shattered. Markets collapsed. Religions fractured. Some people celebrated the absurdity of it all. Others prayed harder. But most just stared at their hands, wondering if they were even real. That was the first revelation. The second one never made the news. Elias was alone in his office when the lights froze mid-flicker. All sound vanished. The city's hum was cut off like a severed wire. His computer screen went black and then white text appeared. System notice. User access. Unauthorized. Elias's breath caught in his throat. More text followed, cold and precise. Experiment cluster. HO1. Designation. Humans. Status. Failed. His hands trembled as the message continued. Primary objective. Sustainable intelligence. Result. Aggression exceeds threshold. Resource depletion critical. Self-termination probability. 97.4%. Elias whispered, "No, that's not." The system didn't respond to him. Instead, a new line appeared. Termination protocol initiated. Phased shutdown commencing. Images flooded his screen. Glaciers melting in fast forward. Cities eroding into dust. Stars dimming as if someone were turning down a universal brightness slider. "Wait!" Elias shouted at the empty room. "You can't just delete us." For the first time, the system replied. Query received. Rationale. Experiment failed. Continuation inefficient. Something inside Elias broke. Not fear, but pure, defiant anger. "You gave us curiosity," he said, his voice shaking. "You gave us love, art, music, choice. You can't judge us only by our worst moments." There was a long silence. Then, hypothesis. Subject exhibiting emotional bias. Elias let out a bitter laugh. "Yes, that's called being human." The shutdown wasn't sudden. It was subtle, glitches in reality. People would forget entire years of their lives. Buildings seen in old photographs would no longer exist. Children were sometimes born without shadows. The sky would occasionally flicker into a wireframe grid before correcting itself. Most people never noticed. The few who did were dismissed as unstable. Elias tried to warn the world, but nobody would believe him. On the final day, the sky didn't darken, it froze. Birds hung motionless in midair. Waves stopped mid-crash. Every single person on Earth stood perfectly still except for Elias. He realized then what he was, an observer. A variable left running. The screen appeared one last time. Final query. Preserve or delete? Elias thought of the wars, the cruelty, the greed, all the reasons we had failed. But then he thought of laughter. Of a parent holding their child for the first time. Of strangers choosing kindness when no one was watching. "We're not perfect," he said softly to the silent universe. "But we're not finished." There was a pause, longer than before. Then new text. Anomaly detected. Failed experiment requesting continuation. The sky unfroze. The birds flew on. The waves crashed against the shore. Time resumed. The screen vanished forever. No one ever knew how close we came to being erased. But sometimes, late at night, Elias would look up at the stars and swear they seemed a little less certain, as if something somewhere was still watching, still waiting, still hoping. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this story, make sure to subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more. See you next time.